education never gets wasted. When I couldn't get in the first attempt, I do remember that night I couldn't sleep. I did cry. The first attempt, it's like, first year in college. From second year onwards, people start getting serious. First year was about fearlessness. Second year, there was a fear. Things how they appear on the face of it and things how they actually work. There is a great deal of difference still. There are three kinds of audit that we do. One is the typical financial audit. Then the other is compliance audit. And then the third animal is the performance audit. Be your own critic. Don't let anybody else determine what you can or cannot achieve.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Mr. Sandeep Dabur. He is 2014 Best Civil Service Officer with 463 ranking in UPSC. He is Deputy Director at Comptroller and Auditor General of India. He is presently in charge of External Audit of Department of Economic Affairs and Department of Expenditure in Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, Government of India. He has also achieved an award in National Academy of Audit and Accounts in Shimla. It's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Sandeep Dabur to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav.
So tell us about your hobbies you enjoy as a child.
I was sort of a studious fellow, would love to play sports all the while. But one thing I believe I always ensured was I used to do my homework always on time. I was always the one finishing homework first and then running to the park for a game of cricket or whatsoever we used to play.
So what about your schooling? Where did you complete your schooling from?
My father was professor at the Haryana Agriculture University, Hisar. We studied from the university school there. So it was called the campus school. And till 12th, I was there, shifted to IIT Roorkee.
So any school time moment or notorious moment you would like to share with us?
Notorious, not really. I do recall my trip to BITS Pilani. The campus of BITS is really beautiful. They have a Birla Mandir, they have a science museum, which is of great interest to children. So I continued with that sort of, GK. So there used to be a Maggie quiz in those days. So we used to get Maggie packs after winning or even if you are simply participating. So again, great fun to remember those things.
Why did you choose civil service as your career?
When I went to IIT Roorkee, 2004 to 2008, I was in civil engineering department there. I don't recall any of us was preparing for civil service exam. So at this thing, always at the back of my mind that I should appear for civil services. And it served as an interesting area. I was an avid reader of newspapers since class 6 probably. So always knew what was happening outside. And I thought this is a good platform, maybe, to do something good. So it was an area at the back of my mind always, but since nobody was preparing, I couldn't really find an environment where, I can go for. So I wanted to experience the environment of a foreign university. So I applied for master's degree outside, got selected scholarship, went to Switzerland to study. One fine day I was standing at the railway station, one of the railway stations, and I was just, it felt like what I am doing here, why I am not preparing for civil services. I should be preparing. It just felt like that. So I started kind of preparing from then onwards. So that was in 2011 when I returned, and 2012 I appeared for my first attempt. I mean, it's really difficult to pinpoint why, but you just feel like it just appealed to my personality. I believe I could change a few things here and there and lead to a fulfilling career.
So how was your journey and what all challenges did you face while preparing for your examination?
Preparation wise, first of all, if you return from after doing masters from outside, as you can imagine, being in India, everybody would be thinking, okay, this boy would go for a placement, probably get married soon, those kind of things. So it was difficult even for my family to initially accept my decision. So first question was, could have started after BTech? Why are you starting after now? And I said, okay, I'm sure. I was always of the impression that I'm sure whatever I have learned in masters, I'll get to apply that somewhere. So nothing gets wasted. Education never gets wasted. So the initial part was the challenge. Then I moved to Delhi. So I didn't know much. I didn't know seriously anyone who had cleared civil services. So no mentor as such. I knew one very senior person, and in fact, before going to Zurich, I had met him one time. The prospect of preparing for civil service exam, he made me understand the various challenges and the which are part and parcel of a civil servant's life. So when I moved to Delhi, it was all new. I went to Rajendra Nagar, which is the place for preparing. Got a place. I used to do cycling. I mean, for traveling to and fro from my room to the Wajiram. My cycle was like really a second-hand ramshackle version of a bike. I had got it for I don't know 300 rupees, 400 rupees. Suddenly, life changed. So from the beautiful valley of Switzerland, and so I was in Delhi biking, and then the room, you have to manage everything yourself. Not an easy place. So food becomes a challenge. It wasn't easy to adjust to this lifestyle again, particularly in the peak summer time. So no air conditioners, nothing. Because this exam particularly isn't much about, like when I cleared the IIT exam. So at that time I recall, you do your effort, you appear for the exam, and since it's all science and maths based, there is almost a one-to-one correlation with your effort and the ultimate result that you get. In civil service exam, it's not like that. It's like, you can prepare in the best possible manner according to you, and with all the suggestions given and everything, read the right books and everything, but still it's a subjective exam. So after the prelims, of course, is objective. It doesn't count towards your final scores. A subjective exam, there are about 9 papers in total, and then the interview. Many things are not under an individual's control. So that ways your effort may not result in the kind of rank, or it may not result even in getting selected. But I know far too many people, brilliant people, most hardworking candidates couldn't get through. In India, the tag of a civil servant gives you a good social status. Okay, it gives you respect. And at times I questioned myself seriously, what am I doing? Why I am sitting here instead of working somewhere, doing something actually, when I couldn't get in the first attempt. And I appeared for the mains. I believe my mains went pretty okay. Couldn't get through, and I do remember that night I couldn't sleep. I did cry. It was really painful that, after so much of effort, couldn't get through. Now that, in second attempt I cleared, and I thought, that's it, end of the story. So I got into the Indian Audit and Account Service. I was happy enough. For any aspirant, the first attempt, it's like, you feel okay. It's like first year in college. You don't know how it gets done. From second year onwards, people start getting serious. Similarly here, second attempt, and then the second and third years are the most difficult. I'm just thankful to God that I could pass through.
So what do you think? What's the contribution of luck and hard work in the success of civil service examination?
So you need 100% luck and 110% hard work.
What was the difference between first year preparation and second year preparation?
2013, which was my second attempt, the pattern of civil services exam changed. So it stands as it is today. So there was more focus on the general studies portion, and instead of 2 elective subjects, there's only 1 elective subject. So that probably suited my style, because, with my general knowledge background, I was more comfortable with the GS portion. Of course, you feel a bit more confidence with the content, but in general, your confidence goes down slightly, that you couldn't clear first time, because I was really confident that I can clear and my preparation and the exams went decently, in my opinion. So there's this fear. First year was about fearlessness. Second year, there was a fear. And what if? So questions creep into mind. So content-wise, you are more and more confident. But in general, the fear that if not this year, then what will happen? Or, and particularly for me, like I had done masters and all that. So even slightly advanced age compared to other.
So what was the reaction of your parents when they came to know, okay, now you have become an officer?
For my parents, I was, that day I was in Mumbai working. I was in SEBI, and my parents, I think they were in Himachal. My father was an official tour somewhere. I just called them up and Simple sentence, Papa ho gaya. Next part, what rank? Big sigh of relief. They always believed that I could clear. My mother, of course, I'm sure she would have been praying, and the way Indian mothers do. I was in Mumbai for many weeks even afterwards. More than my parents, the reactions of the relatives, they are the ones who come up with great sort of josh and everything.
So where did you started your career journey from?
For us, Indian Audit and Account Service officers, we have our National Academy of Audit and Account in Shimla. The residential part of training in Shimla, the academy part, it's phase 1. Then phase 2 happens, what we call an on-job training. So on-the-job training somewhere in any office, which I did in Chandigarh in the Haryana, the CAG's office. It's called the AG's office, the Accountant General Haryana office, which audits the state government of Haryana. So I was in Chandigarh for about 8 months. During the year, we were in Shimla in the academy. So, there are various attachments with various institutes, and I get to travel a lot. So then we get to move on to, the on-the-job training. So the Haryana office happened again. So now this is the real time. So we went on audit exercises, audit assignments, like an intern. So you get to be in various audit teams and get to again meet people from the state government. So that's when, so from the sort of the dreamy side of phase 1, the reality kicks in with phase 2. And then suddenly at the end of these 20 months, you are sent somewhere, now audit start. You are the group officer. So I joined as Deputy Accountant General for Social Sector Audit. Then it was known as Allahabad, now Prayagraj, of course. My charge was to supervise the audit team doing the audit of education sector and welfare sector in government of Uttar Pradesh. Then I was in charge of audit of health sector. It happened for about, 1.5 years. Then finally to Delhi. Now in charge of the finances here.
So how was your early days as an officer? What all changes did you feel in your life?
Suddenly I was in charge of about 90 people. So my group had about 90 people. City was completely new. I have not been to this part of India. So the working culture, I believe we have been fantastically trained in the academy that helped me out. And, some particular advices, like initial part was don't try to change things immediately or try to change, even if you feel this is not right. First understand the system, how it is working. Maybe you would understand the constraints better. So first observe, then react. First 2-3 months were more about, understanding and observing. Obviously, my colleague in the office, the other deputy accountant general or the, senior people and my boss. So my boss, he was from 1985 batch, a very, very senior fellow. He walked me through the first few months, the things. One good thing I did, I used to discuss a lot. So I was never shy. I used to pick up phone and call up anyone across India. Even my friends got to know many, many people in the academy. So all seniors. So I just, pick up a call and say, okay, sir, this is the kind of issue I'm facing. What's your suggestion? So I used to discuss a lot. So this discussion is very important because in audit, what we are doing is we build up a case for an irregularity which has happened in the government. So when you build up the case and you're saying, XYZ department has done something wrong in this particular project, or these are the deficiencies in the implementation of a certain scheme. We call it auditor's opinion, but you can kind of compare it to a judgment even. One needs to discuss a lot, deliberate a lot, and only then we arrive at certain opinion that this is what, in our opinion, based on this criteria, this should have been done, but instead this was done. So that's what our objection is. You did not follow this rule or that rule. So there are some really tricky, sensitive things which emerge. It's not auditing is not a very popular profession. I mean, nobody would like getting, pointing the mistakes out. So it's not easy. So as an officer, I believe this strategy of mine to take help of others and not be, many times people feel like, now that I'm in charge, people tend to feel shy. They tend to not to discuss to that extent. And initial few years, whatever IQ one has, whatever EQ one has, there's no substitute for experience. So the first 1 or 2 years are really, really important where you are gaining experience yourself. So it's important that we learn from the experience of others. Once you clear the first 2 years, then of course you have got that experience. Now I know how my audit teams work, what's, the ins and outs of their motivation, their style of working on the state government side as well. Okay, so things how they appear on the face of it and things how they actually work, there is a great deal of difference still. One needs to know all of that, understand all of that. You need to have that, get your hands dirty, dig into the files, talk to people. It's not just about, signing a report and saying, okay, I've signed and we just move on. So I don't think us as auditors, we can ever stop learning a new thing because, as the governance is changing or my charge gets changed, every sector, every department has got its own nuances. Then state government versus union government, again, things function, quite differently. So working cultures are different. So each time it's a new challenge, but the cycle, I believe, the first 2 years for the most important, the cycle to adapt and adjust, that gets shortened, that period. So like when I came to Delhi, my second posting, I believe my adaptation and adjustment cycle period was probably a few months only.
So what all type of departments have you handled in your course of journey till date?
In UP, Allahabad, the education sector meant higher education, Department of Higher Education. Then there was a Department of Secondary Education. Since it's a big state, they have segregated departments for education. Then there was a Department of what they call Basic Education. Then I had done audit of Department of Sports. I also had Department of Culture. Health side, of course, Department of Medical Health, Department of Medical Education, Department of Social Welfare, Backward Welfare, Minorities Welfare. You had separate departments for, in particular, what we do. Basically, there are three kinds of audit that we do. So one is the typical financial audit. Then the other is compliance audit. And then the third animal is the performance audit. So it's like government has built a school. If I'm doing the financial audit, I'll just look at the bills and vouchers and say, okay, everything is in order. That's it. Fine. If I'm doing compliance audit of that school, so I'll look at the construction part. So whether you adhere to all the rules and regulations for construction, right? Where you're supposed to use cement in the amount, did you use that and all those kind of things, typical. When I do the performance audit, I am looking at the dimension of the effectiveness. So now that school has been built, so our children actually, studying there, what's the impact on the area itself? Was the school even needed there? So it could have been like there's a river. So school is on other side of the river while the village is on the opposite side of the river. Then you can go like, there's no bridge or there's 5 kilometers down the line, there is a bridge from which. So it becomes difficult for children to actually go to that school. So compliance wise, school was built fine. Financial audit wise, everything was okay. But performance wise, school is not performing to the extent. The performance audit aspects, there are some really interesting cases which you start thinking about, okay, and that's a very, very challenging area. So for us, it's not much about the department. It's more about the audit assignment that we are doing.
So what's that one thing that you love about your profession the most and hate about your profession the most?
Yeah, we get to experience multiple sides. So I've seen the education, I've seen the health side, I've seen the finance side. I would love this. It keeps you on your toes. You're learning new things always. What do I hate? Exactly the same thing. You're enjoying health and then you're shifted out after 2 years.
So who is your mentor as an officer?
Difficult to name anyone. My first boss, my second boss, my directors in the academy, few of my batchmates. 10-15 people are my mentors. You get to learn from everyone for sure. But then of course, there are a few with whom you're at a personal level, your wavelength matches probably more than others.
So what are your roles and responsibilities as Deputy Director, Controller and Auditor General of India?
I have a certain number of audit teams. An audit team would comprise of 3-4 officials. So headed by a senior audit officer, then there is an assistant audit officer, then there are auditors. These set of people, constitute one audit team. So one audit team would go to a specific office or an organization to do the audit. I am the, officer in charge. So I'm sitting in my office. My job is to guide, supervise the audit work going in the field. So in the various other offices of the Government of India. So the audit is going on, so my teams are going. So we go very well prepared. We have our own risk analysis. We have our own audit guidelines. Those things are all my responsibility ultimately. And we also have to intervene at an officer level, if there is certain non-cooperation somewhere, we are not getting records. Try to ensure that the cooperation to audit it's maximized. We get to audit what we want to audit. That's mostly my job. And then whenever the course of audit afterwards, they submit a draft inspection report to me. So that report is my responsibility. And then we issue those inspection reports. And if we find some major irregularity emerging out of any of the inspection reports, gets in the pipeline for the ultimate CAG's report, which would appear in the Parliament of India. So which we submit to the Parliament. So this is a whole process. And as an officer, I'm a rather important cog in this entire machine, because on one side, I am supervising the actual audit going in the field. And on the other side, I am the one which is proposing objections, major objections for appearing in the CAG's report. So my responsibility, it's a dual responsibility. So responsibility towards the CAG's report and responsibility of the various inspection reports. That's majorly my responsibility as a group officer.
So any decision or action you regret in your career?
Yeah, of course, regret is too much. To reach the stage of regret, I don't know. I need to do something really terrible. Fortunately, no such thing.
So what advice would you like to give to young officers?
Any job from outside, one can imagine, it could be the most glamorous job. Ultimately, it becomes routine. One needs to be passionate enough to keep finding areas, keep that fire alive. So whether it's your first year in service, and I wish whether it's your 10th year in service or 20th or 30th, keep searching for something which you are passionate about. Ultimately, the professional life gets divided into two segments. One, which is routine, which of course, so there isn't much excitement in doing that routine, but it's a very important part of your professional life. You have to do that routine. So you go through that. But the other part is where, one should always remember why we came into civil services. That's a very important part. Why? We didn't come here to do just any job. We came here with a lot of dreams, with a lot of ideals in our minds that we'll try to do something good towards the society, towards the Indian public at large. And one should always remember that part. It's easy to get sucked into the system, but it's very important to keep one's senses aware enough to say, okay, I came with some sort of passion. Let's keep that passion going.
So what all are do's and don'ts you would suggest while preparing for civil services?
Do's, of course, study as much as you can. There's no limit to hard work. It never goes waste. Study smartly. Too much advice isn't a great thing. Whatever schedule you have got, whatever kind of books you are preparing through, or whichever coaching institute you have taken, ultimately it's your individual effort which counts. So don't believe in too many strategies. Stick to yours. It's like you believe you can play football, you believe you can play basketball, you believe you can play cricket. Ultimately, you have to choose one, and you are a sports person. Whichever side you choose, you have to succeed in that. So it's an individual success. There's no strategy as such. One should keep that in mind. If you do not get through in first attempt, don't change too much in second attempt. Ensure that you capitalize on your strengths. Whatever notes you have prepared, whichever books you have studied. So, you have studied maybe 5 books and you have one set of notes. Consolidate that in your second attempt, in your third attempt. Don't try to get into, okay, I've seen these 5 books and I'll look for another 5 sets of books. You will find it. It's important not to get into that negative sort of attitude. So positive side, what you are seeing, trying to understand what is happening around, and what are the reasons for any government activity, for any government decision. Criticism comes naturally. But you ask any doer, one who is doing things, I'm preparing. So anybody can criticize from outside. Sandeep, you are not, preparing for 8 hours a day. Sandeep, you are not doing for 10 hours a day. But only a doer knows ultimately, there could be a number of constraints, with the way I am doing. So the most important aspect is shut that criticism out and be as honest as possible to yourselves. That's very important. If you are not happy about, you can tell your friends, you can tell your parents, I'm studying 15 hours a day or I'm making the best effort. It's inside, whether you are making the best effort or not. So listen to yourself, listen to that side of yourself, be very true, be your own critic. Don't let anybody else determine what you can or cannot achieve.
So what's the first step and how and where to start preparing for civil service examination?
These days, a lot of information is available online. So most important part is choosing the subject, your elective subject. I would prefer if people choose the subject in which they have graduated. That would be my first suggestion, because they have already gone through the subject. But even otherwise, whichever subjects, difficult to say that this subject is higher, more scoring or less scoring. If you are decently comfortable, every subject has certain portions. I don't know if anyone would be very comfortable with each and every chapter, each and every aspect of the syllabus of a certain subject. It's important that you are in general confident and comfortable with the contents of a subject. So choose that first. In this decision, you'll definitely need to discuss with many people, see things online, see the syllabus, see the questions that have been asked. Once you do that, whether you would like to do it online, even the coaching aspect, or you'd like to go to Delhi or any other place, Delhi, Chennai, Chandigarh, wherever, there are coaching institutes everywhere. That's again a personal call. That's the first step, the choosing the right subject. And then for general studies, it's more or less the same set of books, the same kind of newspapers. A lot of information is available online. Again, the important aspect is to understand the reasons, to understand the system. So initial part would be where you'll need to read a lot. A lot of extensive reading would be needed. And then as the time progresses, we become selective but more intensive. We prepare our own notes and all those kind of things emerge. So making the decision about coaching, making the decision about subject, okay, and these two probably are the most important decisions. Again, for different people, different answers.
So now we will start our rapid round.
Wow.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Actress has to be Madhuri Dixit, and actor has to be... that's difficult.
Your favorite color?
Blue.
The brand you love the most?
I'm not brand conscious.
Your favorite destination?
Switzerland.
Your favorite car?
Agnostic.
Your favorite book?
The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri.
Dream house?
Where my family is.
Things in your wish list?
Much less pollution, large number of trees, very clean water bodies so that I can go and swim in the lakes and rivers of India.
Your role model professionally and personally?
Personally, my parents. Professionally, there are 8, 15, 20 people. Difficult to name all of them, but there are.
Your second choice of career?
If I had not been into this, get into some good NGO.
At last, one line that defines you.
Be persistent, be happy.
Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you and listening to the advices and your experience you have shared on our show. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav. Great questions. Thank you for this experience again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers, for watching our show, Amazing Mentor. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.